shit. Did you see that? That's a Cooper's hawk, I think, or maybe a sharpshin. Let's see. So I wanted to start this video out with a little bit of introductory this, that, whatever. But instead, there is a small hawk. I think it's Merlin that I spooked. It's right there in front of me. Holy cow, it's 20 feet away. So the beginning of this video, instead of me talking about myself, it's going to be about trying to sneak around this Merlin, or small hawk, that is 25 feet in front of me. What a cool way to start the video today. Okay, so I got my camera on it, and I have determined that it is not a Merlin, but it is a juvenile red shoulder hawk, I think. But I've been able to sort of walk around him without disturbing him, so he's still staying put, which is awesome. And man, I'll tell you what, he's bleeding right into the background. I've got the camera set at like 1/60th of a second shutter speed because he's so dark and concealed in there. Had he not flushed out when I walked in, I totally would have missed him. What a cool way to start the video. So, good morning. My name is Jimmy Rosebrock. I'm a wildlife photographer from Central Maryland. I'm birding at my local patch today, and well, I would say hopefully we see something cool, but as I 20-30 feet off of the trailhead, this hawk flushed and perched real close, was real calm. I don't have a hit on the species yet. It was small, had a streaky breast, so it was a juvenile something. If I were to guess, it's a juvenile Cooper's or a juvenile red shoulder, sorry. But I can't really get a good look right now, so that'll be something that we determine in post-processing, but you'll see the shots here. And I took a small clip of it too, so we'll probably sneak that into the footage as well. But let's see what else we can come up with while we're out here. So, oftentimes I get asked, what gets a 34-year-old construction superintendent, Marine Corps veteran, guy that traditionally wouldn't be terribly interested in wildlife, into birds and wildlife? And to answer that question, we have to go back to 2002? Let's say 2002. It sounds better than more recent than that. I was spending time with my grandparents in upstate New York. They live outside of Rochester in a little town called Parrington. And it's always great to go up there and see them, but there's actually not a whole lot to do. So I found myself sitting on my grandfather's deck pretty often. And while I was sitting out there one day, he came out and was sitting with me. Hang tight. Big bird. This is a great blue heron. Sorry, easily distracted. I wonder if that's the hawk I saw earlier. It's a red shoulder hawk. It would make sense. But what that means is I might be hard pressed to see other species now. But that's okay. But where were we? Spending time at my grandfather's in upstate New York. Sitting on the deck one day, he came out with me and he started telling me about the birds that were coming to his bird feeder. Goldfinches, house finches, red-winged blackbirds, and the common birds. And at the time, I sort of didn't care. Okay, cool. It's neat to watch them come in and come out and notice that they were, in fact, very different. It wasn't just a finch or a sparrow. They were more specific than that. So, a little while later on, he said, oh, well, the grosbeak's going to show up here in a little while.
when the sun starts going down, the grosbeak starts showing up. And I asked him more about the grosbeak, and he told me it was a rose-breasted grosbeak that flies up from South America every year and breeds in his property. And so, without fail, a little while later, a grosbeak did show up, and that was interesting. I sort of at this point was like, well, that's pretty cool. You know, I had known that birds migrated. They came from South America and whatnot, but seeing it firsthand, kind of like, hey, this bird, in fact, came from South America. That was pretty cool. So I think that was the spark that lit the fire. So at the end of that trip, my grandfather and grandmother, they gave me a birding book, and they gave me a bird feeder, which I took home, and I set it up in my backyard a little while later. So with my new feeder and my new bird book, I started trying to identify the species that were in my backyard. And I found pretty quickly I had a really hard time seeing closely what was coming in. So I wound up saying screw it, and I bought a cheap point-and-shoot camera on Facebook Marketplace and started taking pictures of what was showing up in my backyard. And after a little while, it went beyond trying to identify the species. It turned into wanting to take really nice pictures of the species that were in my backyard, which subsequently led to newer cameras, which started to turn into going out and birding, which turned into a newer camera, further trips birding, and where we are today with my current camera. I shoot with a Nikon Z8 and a 180-400, but I'm not going to talk about gear too much today. Today I just want to talk about the story that is my infancy to today in birding. But as of today, every weekend, every chance I get, I go out looking for birds. And today, like I said, I'm at my local patch. But I fear the combination of everybody that's out fishing, because this is also a really popular fishing spot, and me sitting here talking to myself, I might not see a lot of birds, but that's okay. The goal today was to get out and film this so I could hopefully kick off something on YouTube, but we'll see. Maybe something will show up, but only time will tell. The sun is really starting to come up now, and it's casting that really nice golden light over the river, so I might try to move downstream some more through this and see if I can find a spot on the edge of the river. Juvenile bald eagle just flew over too, which is exciting. I always see bald eagles here, which is really cool, being that it's so close to home, but this is like tick central through here, so I'm gonna have to check myself out good when I get home. But let's see if we can find something else down there. So I mentioned that this place is my patch and that I come here all the time. What I didn't mention is that this place also floods all the time. It's right on the bank of the Potomac River, and earlier this year, 2025, we had some incredible rainstorms that raised the river lots of feet. And this whole mess of downed trees and debris used to be back there where it's totally clear. But now it's all pushed up here, and this works good because it's cover for birds. But when it comes time to move upriver further, climbing over all of this stuff always sketches me out because I'm carrying my camera. But I've done it a bunch of times without busting my butt, so we'll keep pushing downriver and see if we can find anything. Okay, we were successful. I didn't fall. Pro tip of the day: you can use your many thousands of dollar camera and monopod as a walking stick so you don't fall. So I've moved up river a little ways. I'm actually sitting right on the banks now. It's still pretty quiet. I did successfully get a clip of a mature bald eagle flying over, so that's a first with the Z8. I don't normally take video with it, but today I did, and I think it was okay. I'm, not one of these experts with shooting video with my mirrorless camera, but hopefully it's good enough for this. Another quick update, I still haven't really noticed too much activity, and I think a lot of that has to do with me sort of lumbering around in the woods, not being quiet, talking. Or maybe it's just the sun hasn't hit this side of the bank yet, hasn't hit this side of the river yet. The Virginia side, the other side of the river, is really nicely lit, but it's still dark over here. Looking upriver, you can kind of see where the sun is starting to break, and we're getting a little bit more light. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm close to home. I can stay out here a while. Maybe, hopefully, we'll get more light and more activity, but I don't know. I'm hoping. So I think a lot of this video is going to be patchwork, right? Because I sort of came out here with a goal, but I don't think I came out here as prepared as I could have for recording this and making it more seamless than it probably will turn out to be. The sun's up, but I'm not seeing a lot. So I'm thinking that it may be time to start thinking about going to another spot. I talked about what got me into this hobby. I showed you where I come from, places like this. But what I haven't done is really talk about what's kept me doing this for as long as I have. Because for me personally, hobbies come and go, they don't stick. But this one, I've been doing it nonstop. Before I said 2002, when I was doing my little introductory thing there. But what I meant to say was 2022. So 3 years nonstop, evolving in this, learning new things, going to new places, buying new gear. It's been an upward trajectory since I've started. But why is that? The biggest reason is, for me, mental peace. I'm gonna sit down here for a few minutes. Like many people, I'm not afraid to admit that I've got my own gremlins, mental health demons, things that, anxiety, that keep me up at night, that keep me stressed, that keep me worried. But when I come out here with my camera into the woods, none of that stuff bothers me. It's just me in nature, and it's quiet, and it's peaceful, and it's, at this point in my life, it's a necessary. I have to do it. If I don't do it, it's my medicine. It keeps me calm, it keeps me grounded, it keeps me looking forward to the next trip, thinking about the next species. So that's why this hobby for me is stuck, I think, for as long as it has. And I hope, if you're watching this, that maybe you give it a try if you haven't, or, maybe you take it to the next level, or you push your boundaries a little bit, because every time I have since I started doing this, it's always been for the best. And that's if you take anything away from this, that's what I want you to take away from it, is how good this being outside, just being outside for your mental health is. But I think I'm going to close here. I've been wandering around for an hour or so. I know that's not very long, but it's been really, really quiet. And I might get in the truck and drive out somewhere to see if I can at least get some looks at some species somewhere else. I was hoping for perfect conditions, lots of migrating warblers, but you know, what do they say? Crap in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up faster. That's not a nice way to end this, but that's where I'm at right now. Looking for the next option for today. But until next time, guys, which I plan on being pretty soon, appreciate you watching. If you wouldn't mind, consider hitting that like and subscribe and all that stuff, whatever they say at the end of these videos, because I do plan on making a lot more of these, and all the support I can get will be extremely helpful. So, thank you, and until next time, happy birding.